Hello everyone, my name is Marion, and I'm once again joined by my good friend Lynn.
Hello, hello.
And welcome back to another episode of Reading Reddit Stories, the show where, I don't know if you know this, but we read Reddit stories. And today is another episode of r/BestofRedditorUpdates, where we read, well, we usually read one long story, but once again, like the last time, I only could find two long stories that could fill the runtime, so we're getting two stories for the price of one. So, on me, you get a coupon.
Woo!
Yeah.
And you get a coupon, and you get a coupon.
Lynn, I think these coupons have expired.
God damn it, Marion. What, you were supposed to get the new ones?
Well, it's because these ones were like from the 90s and has Ronald McDonald on them. They're really nice.
Well, the angry mob's on you.
Alright, well, that's fine. But yes, so today we have two stories here, and it is once again r/BestofRedditorUpdates, and both of them are, as we've said before, are very much a doozy. And so, sit back, relax, get out your drawing tablets, get out your notebooks, get out your pencils, and since it's going to be back to school soon by the time that by the time this gets uploaded, a lot of kids will be back in school. So get out your homework, you fucking loser. I'm kidding. I was in school too.
And grab a snack and stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, grab a snack, get dinner, get lunch, get breakfast, fucking go to bed, do all sorts of things. Alfredo, chicken and rice, yeah, so let's get to it.
We're dragging this as long as we can, Mary. I can't come up with anything else.
It's because I'm trying to make sure we're covering all the bases here with our intro, but I think we did it. All right.
Everyone that has a pulse.
You never know, there might be ghosts watching.
God, I hope that isn't Watson this.
Your grandpa's watching this?
It's like, why are you talking to the internet, people? Let's move on.
Yeah, all right, let's get to it. So this first story was originally posted to r/marriage.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so like I said, Lynn, before we started recording, you're gonna be angry.
It's a what the youngins saying? It's a very spicy anger.
I think that's like,
right?
I think that's our generation thing, not the younger generation, actually.
The younger generation, Gen Z, maybe.
Like, I feel like something that I don't know what Gen Z says, to be honest. I don't know any of their lingo.
I given up.
Yeah, me too. Anyways,
I'm just giving up.
Yeah, so let's get to it. So the title of this story is called My 33-Year-Old Female Husband, 34-Year-Old Male, Fell in Love with Another Woman and Wants to Try Polyamory.
Oh, God. Like, I have nothing against that, but most of the stories I hear about this is just them using it as an excuse to get out of their relationship. Or not even get out of the relationship, but just cheat on their partner.
Future Marion, add in a foreshadowing text right here.
Oh, for
So yeah, trigger warning, infidelity, verbal abuse, manipulation, psychological abuse. So, yeah.
So like that movie Gaslight?
There's a movie called Gaslight?
Yep. That's where the term came from.
Oh. Did not know that. All right.
For once, I got to it first.
You finally made an obscure reference that I wouldn't know.
Homeschooling research.
You've done it.
All the things I learned for nothing.
You've done it, Lynn. You've done it.
Don't go lay down now. Let's get started.
All right. So this was originally posted April 7th of 2024. So, yeah, let's get to it. Hi, I've been married to my hubby for 4 years and we've been together for 12 years. After lots of financial struggle, we bought a house and are now planning to get kids. Thing is, a few months ago, my husband fell sick and had to stay home for a while. He decided to pick up an online game and started having weekly sessions with a group of players. Among them is a girl, 30, I think, and long story short, he fell in love with her. Fell in love with the girl, fell in love with someone else.
Can I just say something? I like the phrase, get a kid.
Yeah, get a kid. We're going to pick him up.
If I was remotely tolerant of kids, that's how I'd put it. I'd just be like, hey, Mom, I'm going to get a kid. You're going to have grandchildren.
Yeah, we're going to buy it from Babies R Us. Oh, wait, we can't anymore. They're out of business. Damn it. Oh, well.
Oh, my God.
He broke down crying a month ago and admitted it. He told me it built up so gradually he didn't understand how he felt until it was too late. They started texting privately after meeting and eventually had one-on-one calls together. Then at some point he said that she told him she was in love with him, and then he realized it was mutual. He said he told her it was impossible but loved her too. They tried to be just friends, but they couldn't resist and continued to show affection for each other. He showed me the text, but also ventured into explicit texting, if you want to call it that. She asked if she could meet him face to face, but he refused. So he told me all of this, apologized over and over again, and told me he couldn't control himself, and while he loved us both, it was me he would choose no matter what. Yeah, okay, buddy. I was still very upset and slept at a friend's house that night together.
Okay, in that case, then, I don't know, tell her that straight up, and if you still can't control yourself, then block the woman.
Yeah.
Like, points for at least telling your wife, minus those points for continuing this bullshit.
Yeah. I was still very upset and slept at a friend's house that night to gather my thoughts. I decided to forgive him because he clearly felt guilt and wanted to work it out. I told him that while I was deeply hurt, I still appreciated him coming forward to me and being honest about what happened. We got into long conversations about how we were feeling in our relationship. I accepted he could love someone else, but said I didn't like how he handled it. He agreed. And then yesterday, he asked if I was comfortable opening up the marriage to polyamory. He said he wanted to live with me and have kids, but can't erase nor ignore the feelings he has for her. He says he wants to do it right and let us both see other people with clear boundaries and communications and still be present for one another. Problem is that you're already broken the boundaries and the communications with one another, but
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, it made me very uncomfortable at first. We have several friends who are poly. I know more or less how it works, but I never really thought about getting into it myself. I'm not against it. It just never crossed my mind before. I am trying to think it through, but it's a lot to take in. Sorry my writing is probably messy, but it's kind of hard to focus right now. I guess it's too early to decide, and we have a lot more to discuss beforehand, but still. Could you guys give me your opinions on this? Thanks a lot.
Fucking lose his ass.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's not going to stop with that one girl.
So, here's the thing. The thing that I hate the most about these types of stories, and I've even seen them on Smosh whenever they've read on their own show, if you will, is that most of the time the husbands do this because they specifically just want to take advantage. They basically want to take advantage of this. It's basically getting away with cheating, so they call it poly or open relationship, if you will.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's sad because that also downplays the same thing going on was Error Ace. It's people using this shit for their own advantage. It's setting up a bad name.
Yeah, because the thing is that
there are ways this works.
Yes.
But you can't it's not just out of the blue. It doesn't just come up hey, wife or husband I've known for a number amount of years now and I want to have children with. Let's see other people and still be in a committed relationship. By the way, it also doesn't matter that I want to have fun with other people, you can't. Because that's usually how these things go. Pretty
much, yeah, because it's the husband who wants to open it up, but then as soon as he sees his wife doing the very thing that he said that she could do, he immediately gets jealous and it's no, I don't want this anymore. It's we're just taking advantage then.
Too, that I know it can go both ways, but more often than not, the louder stories, if I will, are usually that.
Yes. And that's the thing is that I also because polyamory is a thing. But it's a thing where all persons are in on it and are together with it.
Yeah, it's a thing where the entire party knows how to divide their love for each other.
Yes,
usually from my understanding, I am not polyamorous myself, but usually from my understanding, there's a set number of people they agree to. If there is, they talk about it. There's communication that goes into this.
Yes. It's a consent between all parties, but here it's very obvious that he just wants to go off and be with this woman too.
It's also very important because bad stuff can happen. STDs and all this is out there. So if you do not communicate properly and if you do not use the proper safety, this can get really bad, especially if one of your partners is planning on having children.
Yes. So we do have some comments here, the top comments here. One of the commenters says, I'd be divorcing so fast. Another commenter says, so he cheated and now he wants to be able to keep cheating by calling it poly. Lol, come on. Do not have kids with this man for the love of God, and if you have any self-respect, you'll be serving him divorce papers soon as possible. Sorry, your husband is a cheating ass.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the second thing. Most people believe cheating only starts with the physical kind. It can also start emotionally, and that's exactly what happened here.
Yes. Another person writes, you got married under the assumption you would remain monogamous. He's trying to fundamentally change the nature of your relationship. If I were you, I would drop any attempts at conceiving and figure out your next steps. Personally, I would not stay with someone who desired an open relationship. You need to decide if it's something you're willing to entertain or not. But the problem is that it's not like a thing where they're both like, yeah, sure, let's do this. It's very obvious that he just wants to do this so that way he can get away with cheating.
And she was uncomfortable from the start. And one of my biggest things is I follow my gut. If I feel uncomfortable about something, it's not just my brain being like, oh, you want to keep your head up. It's more of an internal, wait, stop.
Yeah.
I follow that.
Mm-hmm. So
it's clear that she's uncomfortable with this.
Yes. Which obviously rightfully so, because it's like you find out your husband tells you that he cheated on you, and now is saying, well, we should open up to polyamory just so we can get away with it.
Like, this is pretty much the exact basis of starting a relationship and continuing the relationship knowing that your partner does not want children, and then suddenly down the line you're just like, hey, let's have children. Yeah. No, you agreed on it. It doesn't matter how much time has passed, you should still respect that.
Yeah, it doesn't change. That's another thing I've also hated too, of like how it's like a thing where people will say, yeah, I don't want kids, but then like this person that they marry, they like, you know, they're like, oh, okay, but in their head they're like, yeah, but I want kids, and then they get divorced because that person is still like, yeah, I don't want to have kids. It's like, well, they weren't going to change their mind.
Yeah, the thing is, as soon as you have that feeling, communicate with your partner instead of wasting more time.
Yeah.
Get couples counseling, whatever it takes to figure this out, and if it still comes up dry, just go.
Whatever it takes.
Don't waste both of your time.
Yeah. So this next update is 18 days later on April 25th of 2024. So, yeah, let's get to it. Hey guys, original post here. I can cut that out. First off, sorry I didn't reply to all your comments. I am very thankful for them. They helped me realize hard, but fair, truths about the whole situation. I waited for a bit to think about it all, and had multiple long discussions with my husband. I want to confront him before making a final decision. To answer some of your questions, the other girl wanted to meet him, but they never did. Partly because my husband refused, but honestly, mostly because she lives too far from here. Yeah, let's think about this. If she was closer, would he have went? Let's be honest here.
I don't think he would have even told her with the way this is turned out.
Yeah.
If she was maybe a neighborhood or two away, then yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. I still got checked for STDs, though, and I'm clean. Yay. As for our polyamory friends, they apparently were the ones who suggested him to go down the polyamory road. Okay, those people aren't good people then, because I know polyamorous people, and I know that they'd be like, yeah, no, this guy's just trying to take advantage of you. So that's not great.
In that situation, they should have told her right off the bat that he was even considering, or that was even going on.
Yeah. I stopped talking to them for a while. I'll deal with the bigger problem first. I told him his actions hurt me deeply, and that while I appreciated him admitting his affair, it was still infidelity. I told him what you guys said, that turning it into polyamory was merely green-lighting the affair after the fact, that polyamory should be built on mutual trust and communication, which he already broke, that I didn't feel respected. These are all things that we discussed. It destroyed him. He already knew deep down, but didn't want to admit it, neither to me nor himself. We both screamed and cried a lot. Ouch. He finally admitted he wanted to open the marriage for selfish reasons. He is very sorry. He cut off contact with the other girl. He didn't already do that? All right. Let me fully access his phone and computer, and now wants to go to counseling to repair a relationship and marriage. He is showing me a lot of affection and attention since then, although he admits himself it's sometimes out of guilt and not just out of pure love. It's broken. Oh no, we broke it. Well, he did.
It's definitely manipulative, because when people like this realize they've done something wrong, they will immediately suck up like there is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they know how to do it in a way where just play the game all over again. Because as soon as he knows he has you, he will go back to this person. She's not blocked forever.
No.
And if it's not her, it will be another woman.
Yeah.
Whether it's emotional or not.
Mm-hmm. And now I want to make it work too. But am I? Or is it sunk cost fallacy? I don't know. Our first session is in 2 months, the earliest we could get, and every day I change my mind. Literally yesterday I wanted to leave him, while today I think it's worth giving a try. Because we've known each other for so long, we understand each other on a very deep level, share lots of interests, and I've already built so much together. He was there during the hard parts of my life, he took responsibility for his actions and is really trying. Plus, if I leave him, I'd have to start my life nearly from scratch, find a new place to live, go back to dating for the first time in 12 years. I don't want to lose everything. It sounds very scary and hard. Am I not too old for this? Bitch, you're in your early 30s. You're gonna be fine.
In my personal opinion, you're never too old to figure your life out.
But like,
yes, there's a point where it starts to get harder, but there really isn't a point where you can't stop and think, how can I make my living experience better?
Not just that, but also any person who thinks like, am I too old to date? And it's like, you're 31, man, you're fine. Which I believe she's like 34 or 30 or something along those lines. I would have to check back, but she's 33. Dude, you're fine.
Yeah, and also I know, not on the partner level, but I know as far as friendship goes, you can know someone for so long and think that they're basically your other backbone.
Yeah, but...
And then you start to see the flaws once you realize how bad of a situation you're in.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that
He's
before.
reeling you back in, he's manipulating the situation where you're in this constant moral dilemma of what you're doing. And either way, you're going to feel like shit when you get out.
Yeah.
Just one lasts longer than the other.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that's a form of denial, isn't it? It doesn't matter if those years were good. It's not going to be the same. Even if he gains my trust back, even if I forgive him, I'll never forget. I think he is genuinely remorseful, but isn't it too late for that? I am too empathetic. Him being present now doesn't erase what was done. Do I want to stay? Not because I still believe in this relationship, but because don't have the strength to ask for a divorce? Because it's the easy choice, some kind of codependency? I have no idea. I can picture both paths clearly, and it's tearing me apart. I am lost, maybe even more than I was when I wrote my previous post. I've lost sleep and appetite, and I'm not sure I enjoy anything in my life anymore. I booked an appointment with a psychologist for me alone to help with this whole thing. I am sorry at this point I am rambling. I know that I am the only one who can decide what's okay and comfortable for me or not. It's ultimately my choice and my choice only. The emotional hell I am going through just makes thinking about that choice very hard and paralyzing. I'll go to both therapies and try to see what to do from here. I'll try to update, but it's probably going to be a while. I am sorry. I want to thank you again for your support, and I am sending you guys a lot of love. So there is an edit here if you want to hear this first before we get to discussing.
I think we're going to have to.
All right. A couple of infos I should have mentioned, but didn't because all of that info writing it without omitting something is much harder than I thought. He cut off contact with her because once he told her he was married and wanted us both, she just ran away and broke up with him. There are times since then where my husband starts feeling sad or angry because of what's basically withdrawal, and that he's smart, and for that, he's smartly sensible enough not to blame me. What kind of marriage did we have before this crisis? It will sound so naive. It was my first and only romantic relationship. We were very close and basically grew as adults together. We could talk about anything and understand each other. We shared the same values and interests. What changed? I think is that we got into a routine and he got bored. During our argument, he said that he was addicted to the attention the girl was giving him and that he felt I didn't show him I was in love with him enough anymore. I told him that even if it was true, he should have told me instead of having an affair. On one hand, I have my faults and I could accept this as one of them. On the other, I was taking care of him in the house while he was sick. I don't think he believes it. I don't think he means it, but it makes me wonder whether I was actually a good wife for him, even though I'm not responsible for his actions. Thanks again for your support, y'all. It's a lot to process, but it helps me so much.
Take a step back and think if this is how he feels when you're trying to maintain a household and basically what I'm gathering, a man-child.
Mm-hmm.
How's he going to react when you have an actual baby that you need to put your full attention to? Not only that, clearly, if he's not taking care of the house, or if you're taking over all the household chores, not only do you have a baby to take care of, you have a house to take care of.
So that actually
will he help you with the baby, or will he see the baby as an obstacle for your attention?
That actually ties into this comment. So someone apparently wrote for OP on if she and her husband have kids and plan on getting counseling. OP then responded, kids are off the table. If we do go into counseling and it goes exceptionally well, maybe we'll talk about it. But for now, the distrust is already there. He says, I love you, but I never know whether it's to regain my trust, whether he means it or not. Even if he does he love me, or is it a lie he tells himself? So kids are off the table already.
Good. And the thing is, this is why I tell you, love is such a very important word to me, and I rarely use it.
Yeah.
Because you have to mean it when you say it. Because so many people don't mean it these days.
Yeah.
So many people will say, oh, I love you, just to gain points.
Yeah. It's... I guess that, like, it's something that, like, I find it, like, one part of me, like, obviously, like, this guy is still a piece of shit, but the one thing that I really wanted to say to OP is just, like, bruh, you're 33. It's gonna be okay. Like, is it gonna be hard? Yes, but also, like, you are still young. You can find love, if you will.
You still have time.
You have lots of time. You're 33.
Don't waste it on someone who's gonna fucking take it for granted.
Put it... Mm-hmm.
There are so many people, as I've been saying, anytime we read a story like this, there are so many people on this world. Even if you get... And I think her biggest problem right now is that she's afraid to be dependent on herself.
Yeah.
Because if they've been childhood sweethearts, she's never really been alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be bad and very terrifying, but in order to have a healthy relationship, you do have to know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe this is just your journey to learn or relearn how to trust and love yourself before you can love someone else, and what to look out for. What kind of love are you looking for? Because right now, the kind you have seems to be very fake. Yeah.
And another thing to keep in mind is the fact that she says, like, will I be able to do this all over again and things like that? And it's like, in my head, I think, will you be able to live the rest of your life with this person for 40 to 50 plus years, maybe even possibly 60 plus, depending on how...
the same bullshit they're pulling now?
Yeah, will you be able to live with that? Or are you going to stand up and say, you know what, no, this isn't right, and get the fuck out of there, and do find someone else possibly out there that you can live the rest of your time on this physical world in, you know?
Yeah, and if you can't, learn to love yourself.
Yes.
You have a long life.
Yeah.
Whether it's cut short or not, you don't want to live a miserable life.
Yeah.
And to an extent, we are in control of that.
Yeah.
And the first thing we're in control of is love.
Yeah. And plus, I guess, like, not to get too philosophical, but most people who come back from near-death experiences say that the main thing that they were taught over on the other side, if the other side is true, is that the main thing that people should be striving for is love.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but we do have... This is the final update, by the way. So, this next update. And this was posted... on July 26th of 2024, so just about not too long ago as of recording this. This is 3 months later. So yeah, let's get to it. So, TLDR, we are divorcing. Hooray! Trigger warning, emotional affair, manipulation, self-harm threats, and psychological abuse.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry for cutting this off real quick, but if anyone ever fucking does this to me, or does that to me again, as soon as they're caught, this is one of the tactics they go for.
Yeah.
The whole, I'm mostly unstable, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you have to realize they are in control of their own health as you are in control of your own health. You do not... There are certain things you should do, making sure they're okay, asking them. But after that, your obligation is over.
Yeah.
And at that point, you need to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, Lynn, if you don't do the rest of this video with me, I'm going to swallow a spoon.
What the fuck? Bitch, no, I'm trying to cut chicken with that spoon right now.
No, I want to swallow your spoon, bruh. It's mine now.
No, I want to cut my goddamn chicken with the spoon. I'm trying to have some good chicken Alfredo here.
Well, I want to become the ant guy from the Cute Mario Bros.
What is wrong with you?
A lot of things. You know this.
Oh, God.
Anyways, let's get to it.
Hold on, people. I just need to go lock this damn spoon up and put child-proof lock on fucking silverware drawer.
That won't stop me.
The SpongeBob thing. Just put the SpongeBob. You said it won't stop.
That won't stop me.
12 seconds later.
Okay, let's get back into this bullshit.
Alright. Linn won't let me eat the spoon, but okay.
There better be something good after this, man. I swear, you can't put me through this and not just, like, throw something funny in there.
Anyways, so back to the story. Hey, I hope you are doing well. Original post here and previous post here. A huge amount of things have happened since then. I'll quickly summarize. Feel free to check my profile if you want to know more. It was a very, very unpleasant ride. So, soon-to-be ex-husband had an emotional affair online and tried to make me green light it by asking for an open marriage where we'd be allowed to have side adventures. I really hope he didn't phrase it like that. I refused, and his affair partner dumped him. He begged me to try to reconcile with him, to which I agreed, while I was actually trying to prepare my exit. We both went to individual therapy, still am. We separated temporarily 3 times, but every time I came back, it went terribly. He was desperate. He kept trying to cross my boundaries, love-bombing me, playing the victim, asking to touch me even though I established I didn't want to, threatening to kill himself if we were to divorce. I could go on and on. Fuck.
You know what you said about the hope he didn't phrase it like that? Seeing that he found his partner over a fucking video game probably did.
Yeah, I know. But that's not even the worst things already.
I know.
God. This made me finally realize, along with my therapist, along with my therapist's help, a lot of self-reflection and exchanges on Reddit, that I was in an abusive relationship, which is an important part, actually the most important part of this update. Please look up definitions and examples of abuse because I had no idea what my husband had been doing all these years, even before the affair counted as such. In this case, it was psychological abuse, manipulation, gaslighting, guilt-tripping, blame-shifting, emotional blackmail, nothing aggressive or mean, which turned me into a very submissive partner over the years, always catering to his needs while erasing mine. I rationalized everything. It happened subtly and gradually, and I was too naive to see it for what it was. His emotional affair and an open marriage proposal were the natural continuity of that. Of course, the more I tried to get away from him, the more manipulative he got. Now that I was aware of it, I knew what he was doing, but fighting years of conditioning, even if you recognize it and succeed, is fucking exhausting and disarming. So earlier today, I brought a friend home to assist me. We sat down, the 3 of us, and I told my husband we were over, and I handed him the papers. It might sound dumb, but it's genuinely one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I was terrified. Yeah. Yet he agreed. He repeatedly asked me if I was sure. He reminded me of the family we were planning to have and of our best memories together. Was it all for nothing? Apparently, yes. He was heartbroken, clearly mad, and frustrated, but still he agreed. He signed them and went back to his parents for now. We still have to go through the whole procedure, separate our assets, decide what to do with the house and all, and he still wants to go to marriage counseling, but right now I feel free for the first time in months. The last hours have been a mix of tears, celebration, and godly, restful sleep. And I have to thank you guys again, because my first Reddit post was the wake-up call I needed to eventually finally get here. Better late than never, I guess. Thank you so much. Lots of
don't want to think of what her life was before this step.
Not me neither, man. Like,
how boxed in. Because that one phrase right there, feel free.
Yeah.
And the way he presented himself, because she's going to see so many different faces going through this.
Yeah, and
because there are 2 very common ways people like this handle, and that's terrifyingly calm. And they're slowly inching you back in. It's like, well, what about this? What about this?
That's exactly what he was doing.
Together. Yeah. And then the aggressive thing, which I have an awful feeling if she hadn't brought her friend over, it would have gotten to that.
Yeah. There are some relevant comments here. So this is a reply to one of the quotes from the post. He reminded me of the family we were planning to have and our best memories together. Was it all for nothing? Apparently, yes. He was heartbroken. That's a special kind of asshole. Was it all for nothing after cheating on his partner? He sounds like an insufferable douchebag, honestly. Congrats on your freedom.
Yeah.
OP then responded, I know, right? The hypocrisy, the nerves of this man. The worst part is that he appears very charming to everyone who knows him, and myself included. Hell of a lot of our people from our circle who are aware of what he did still think he's a good person who just lost himself for a while. I guess it's hard to accept the ones we love can be terrible persons too.
The ones that make us think we love them.
Yep. And then one last comment. You have been through a long, hard journey, and it will take a while yet, but you are investing in yourself and your health and happiness. Good for you. Continue self-care and practice safety and security. Slow down and heal so that you will be strong and ready to seek and recognize true love. Wishing you a joyous future. You can do this. OP then responded,
Yes.
Thank you. I'll do my best. I like to think the hardest part is behind me, but this story taught me to expect the worst. Whatever happens, though, from now on, it's me first. I deserve love and happiness, and I'll fight for it.
Yes.
And that's the end.
That's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, God. Yeah, that guy was terrible. Like,
Anyway, you want to get the spoons and find this guy?
yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's stab him with the spoon.
Fucking spoons.
Yeah. But, like, the way, I guess the biggest telltale sign of, like, just the type of guy he was really just the part when she told him about the divorce, and he was like, are you sure? Remember the family we're gonna have? And it was like, okay, fuck you.
That is a very narcissistic behavior.
Yeah.
Narcissistic, manipulative, and it's terrifying,
Yeah.
especially when they're calm.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means they're collected. They know what they're doing. They're taking in everything as they go along. They're waiting for the next thing to do.
Yep.
How else can I try to manipulate this person to drag her back in?
Yep. It's honestly just an awful situation that I'm glad OP is out of. But yeah, it's like I don't know. There was just so many layers to that puzzle that just like completely fired off as time went on. And then I guess the final icing on the cake was her finally realizing that this person was being emotionally abusive to her after all these years.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she's out of it now. So
Absolutely. Because, like, there are people that sadly don't realize this and stick through it because they're under the belief that they're not worthy, that they're not worth love, that they're not worth it to other people, and that the person they are with will be the only person they get to be with.
yeah.
And that is after years and years of manipulation and little thoughts put into their head by these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little mistakes they make only validate those thoughts.
Yeah. So, I guess that's pretty much it for that story. So let's move on to the next story, if you will.
Well, is this one going to be nice?
No.
Is it?
No. So, once again, this one is from r/BestofRedditorUpdates. And this one was posted all the way back in 2016, which was 8 years ago. Ironically, also in April. So, yeah.
Nice.
The title of this one is called Me, 32-year-old female, with my husband, 33-year-old male, for 5 years. Fired 3 times in a year. I think he's the problem. Trigger warnings, misogyny. It's okay. After this, we can have. You want to like play Minecraft or just watch some funny YouTube videos after this?
I want to commit a crime.
All right, we can do that too. All right, well, let's get.
Scoop someone's heart out with a spoon.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Throwaway because we are both Redditors and people know us. I need to preface this that my husband is a good person. He is a wonderful father and an amazing partner. I'm having doubts after that last story, but sure, let's keep that going. He is a hard worker and just really wants to do good work. His problem is that he's a smart guy with lots of ideas and steps on people's toes too much. I am looking for advice on how I need to better approach these conversations with him because I am starting to feel myself pull away from him. Before this crazy last year, my husband worked 4 years for the same company. He jumped ship after He jumped ship after he was looked over for a promotion and pay raise twice. We both knew he was taking a certain amount of risk, but he landed a contract to hire job at a big company where there was lots of resources available for him to succeed, so we were not too worried about it. A few months after he started complaining about his boss. He complained about how he hated being a clock puncher, complaining that his boss was never around and that she did everything wrong, and everyone seemed okay with the status quo. I encouraged and supported him as best as I could while encouraging him to continue to apply for other jobs and interview while he still had a job, just in case he did not want to stay there or they did not convert him to a full-time after his contract was over. Long story short, he did not keep his head down and search for other jobs, and one misstep later, his boss terminated his 1-year contract after 6 months for conflicting management style. I worked in HR, I know what that means. Yeah. His next contract gig lasted him a week, and then he approached me with the idea of not going back to work full-time, but starting his own company. Fuck. It would mean spending all the money we had saved on a down payment for a house to support us and his business during this time. I made him promise that he would try to seek a gainful employment while trying to launch his startup. He promised, and then he never delivered. He did not look for any other jobs until he was turned down for venture capital on several fronts. He landed another contract gig after we had depleted our entire savings and racked up $10,000 in credit card debt.
Fucking idiot. Not the wife, the man here.
Yeah. This new job was also a year contract to hire position. The company was going through a restructure, so all he had to do was keep his head down, do a good job, and work hard. Instead, he tried to change the way everyone did things, managed to get into a pissing match with a female employee who was BFFs with his boss, and sure enough, he was called into her office only after 6 months on the job and fired. I am at my wits' end. I am furious.
Seeing a pattern.
Yes. I am furious and angry and hurt. How hard is it just to do your job when you have 3 kids and a wife at home? Jesus Christ. How hard is it to stop assuming risk when you're already in a vulnerable position? I am in school right now and I work 25 hours a week. We have 3 kids at home. We are also in escort on our very first house after rebuilding our savings from last summer. Unless he starts a job next week, we are going to lose our house and we'll have to be out of our rental in June. Maybe this is just an anomaly. I don't know. It feels like a pattern to me. When we met, he had been laid off from his employer, and the job before that, he was fired after only a few months. The only long stint he had was the 4 years at the larger company, and he complained about that constantly too. I am at my wit's end. I came home from work today, and he was eating ice cream sandwiches with 2 of our kids. I asked if he had a follow-up on any of his leads from last week. Nope. I tried talking to him about how he comes across to people, arrogant, know-it-all, when he walks into an office and tells people they are doing things wrong and tries to make a bunch of big changes. I tried telling him he needs to find a good balance between being a leader and being a good employee. I spent a decade in HR. This is valuable knowledge that I am bringing to the table. It seems to fall on deaf ears. Reddit, what do? I don't know how to handle this situation anymore. I don't know if this is a pattern of behavior or if this is just a run of bad luck. How do I stop hating my husband for perpetually being unemployed and putting our family at risk because he can't get his shit together? TLDR, husband keeps getting fired from jobs, is the major income earner, and is now putting our family at risk. The deal in our house is falling through, and I am starting to hate him because this is a problem he can fix. How do I deal with him and my feelings overall?
He is actively putting your family at risk here. You have 3 kids. That's expensive.
Yes.
You have a husband who won't fucking suck it up and go for a job.
Yep.
Yes, it's hard at times, but from the sounds of it, he's putting himself in these situations. You are taking care of 3 kids and the household and school at the same time.
Yep.
You have enough stress on your back, and at this point, I know it's risky, but I'd try a fucking scare tactic with them.
Yeah.
Threaten for divorce, because this is not what you need your kids in. You do not need your kids in a failing household at the risk of being kicked to the streets, or worse, being moved into an awful neighborhood where you're afraid anytime your kids go to the backyard.
Yeah. So there are some relevant comments here, and there's a note here saying, most comments were pointing out that he had problems with women telling him what to do.
Exactly.
So someone commented, my brother is exactly like your husband, but you know what? My brother can't get a job to save his life now. It doesn't matter that my brother is smart or a good father because he's been fired from every job he's had in the past 3 years. He's been unemployed for 9 months and he places blame everywhere but himself. He is unbearable. He's a know-it-all. He dug himself into a hole I'm not sure he can get out of. Honestly, he couldn't even rent an apartment without a co-signer because of his work history. Why hire the guy that's been fired? Why hire the guy that can only provide references that are 5 years old? You don't. Your husband needs to address his issues with a therapist. His inability to deal with authority, especially women with authority, including you, is going to ruin him career-wise and potentially marriage-wise. So...
You can already see the marriage going to sit here.
Oh, absolutely. Family-wise, is just everything-wise, it seems. And another person comments, replying to a quote from the post, I don't know if it feels like a pattern to me. I noticed another pattern. The gender of all the people at work he can't seem to get along with. OP then responds, it's something I considered but dismissed for whatever reason. The job he was at for 4 years, both of his supervisors were male. He has a very dark history with his mother, but why would he display any of those behaviors with me or our daughters if that were the case? He is displaying that behavior with you. He didn't give a shit about your advice, even though you worked in an HR.
Yeah.
So, no,
At this point, therapy is necessary, or if you guys somehow make it through this and save up the money for this, and your daughters grow to teenhood with this man, things are just going to get worse if no one addresses his fucking mommy issues.
Yeah, and another commenter pretty much is saying our exact sentiment. Your daughters aren't in a position of authority over him. The opposite is true. He tells them what to do. As for how he acts towards you, you've just told us that he doesn't want to do things your way, even though what you're suggesting is what is logical and necessary. Silly woman, you can't tell me what to do. I'm the only one who knows the right ways to go about things. OP then responds, you're absolutely right. He always says he is receptive to my input, but never actually seems to implement it. Except one time he did take my advice, and he landed an amazing job that made him zoodles. And then he got fired. But, I'm just a woman. Oy. Another commenter says, actually, he does display these with you. That's why he spent your savings and racked up $10,000 of credit card debt.
Because he was so convinced, I am so smart. I can do this right away. Put this much money down. Yeah, there's like a 55% chance it's going to fucking cave in on itself, but let's still do it.
Yeah, fuck
I have 3 kids. Let's still do it. Yeah. I have a wife who's kicking her fucking ass off to take care of these kids, and also my screwed up ass. Let's do it. Nothing can go wrong.
$10,000 later. Another person responds, OP, I noticed something similar with my fiancé, though not as extreme as your situation, but nonetheless, I noticed it right away when you mentioned he has female bosses. My fiancé also has no relationship with his mother, and they have terrible history. He told me stories of past employments and issues he's had. I noticed and pointed out to him that he has issues with women in positions of authority, and that he doesn't take my advice and suggestions even when I am knowledgeable or experienced in the topic. He also has the habit of not listening to me when I give him information, and then magically my info is valid when it comes from someone else. A man, of course. So irritating. I also made the connection that I believe it has something to do with the dysfunction between him and his mother. Yes, it is. We were able to deal with those issues by going to therapy. We go together and we go individually. There will be nothing you can do on your own because you do not have the proper training and tools for him to deal with his issues. Suggest therapy. You cannot allow him to put your family in financial jeopardy. That is not fair to your children. It's something I find very unsettling about a person, with a family no less, who sabotages their job before having another already lined up. Do not buy a house just yet. There are things that need to be worked on before you can put your family in a worse situation. Also, Mother's Day is approaching, and that is a tough time for people who have very dark histories with their mothers. Just something to think about, because my fiance and I struggle this time of year for similar reasons. There's also a small update from OP, by the way, if you want to listen to that first before we get to the next update.
As well.
Small update. First, thank you everyone for your input. I took a lot of the advice here in the conversation that I had with him last night once the kids were settled. Points I took away from the chat. 1, he does not feel like he has a problem with female bosses. He thinks that shitty companies and shitty management is the problem. He's not going to vocalize it.
Yeah.
He's not going to admit it.
Hey, hon, I just need to go and say something on the rooftop real quick. I'm a sexist. I have mommy issues.
Wow, honey, that was really transparent of you. Yeah, he's not going to do that. Number 2, he does not know this, but he made a comment about his job hunting that did not make sense. A recruiter had reached out to him specifically about a less than desirable job. I asked him if he followed up. He said yes, and that he never heard back. I snooped through his email. He never replied to the woman. He also had a recruiter contact him this evening about asking about a position about a company he had specifically mentioned would not be ideal to work for. I told him it wasn't like we had a choice. He just needs a job right now, regardless. So he's lying to me now. He's acting like he has all the time in the world to find some magical match for him on the employment front.
You guys have kids. God, what happens if there's some medical bill you guys need to pay? What happens if one of your kids, God forbid, breaks a leg?
They're fucked.
Yeah. This guy needs to get his shit together. Or he needs to put work behind him and let his wife take over, and he can be a stay-at-home dad. Because from the looks of it, he cannot hold a job. He cannot be a fucking worker if he cannot handle having a woman tell him what to do.
He needs to go to therapy. That's what it is, really.
Absolutely, but he doesn't do that. No, it's fucking... This is so stupid.
I know.
He's willing to put kids
In jeopardy.
in a bad living situation. He's willing to have someone end up calling CPS because they think something's wrong and losing his kids because they don't have a stable income.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he has a little petty thing against people. Because he has a little petty thing against women.
Yeah.
There are bad people in this world, men and women. But there are good people. Get fucking help.
Yes. So there is an update, and this is the only update. It's a rather long update, though. So, yeah. Let's get to it. I can tell you're hyping yourself up because you're already just upset.
That sounded way too happy for how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So this was posted on May 23rd of 2016, so just about a month later. Hey Reddit, I got an inbox full of requests for an update, and my original post got a lot more attention than I thought it would, so I figured I would post an update. Unfortunately, my update is a sad one. We're going on week 5 of my husband's unemployment and that he still has no job offers. He has had several prospects, quite a few phone interviews, and exactly one in-person interview. As of now, it's not looking like he will be back to work in even the next few weeks, despite having promised me every week for the last 3 weeks that he would have a job offer. If he doesn't have a job offer before Wednesday, we will lose the house. To try and prepare for this, we filled a bunch of rental applications because we have to be out of the house we are currently living in less than 3 weeks. All of our applications were denied as my husband has no income, so it looks like we will be living in someone's basement in short order. Several people mentioned me going back to work full-time, and sadly, that is not an option. My company isn't in a position to make me a full-time offer and won't be until midsummer. I've had this conversation with my boss. My job offer is contingent upon my continued studies, so school isn't something I can just drop right now. Based on the advice I received here as well as from a close friend, I have tried to approach him several times about what the problem could be or how we could try a different way of figuring this out. Every single time I was met with being accused of stressing him out, making him anxious, and eventually getting blamed for being the source of his nervousness, which he later said affected how his phone interviews went. Yeah, okay, fuck off.
It's time for him to go.
Yeah.
He's just like, at this point, he's slowly becoming a fucking... He's lying about so fucking much.
Yes. I have asked if he has followed up on regarding certain opportunities, and he tells me that I am making him anxious for asking for updates so often. I'm sorry, it's not like his ever fucking house is in jeopardy. Yesterday, in fact, he told me that no one gets a job by following up with recruiters. Okay, I understand how recruitment works, but I have to ask myself how someone can dedicate the hours of 9 to 5 to getting a job in a highly in-demand field in an area that has jobs aplenty and still come up short. One in-person interview. I've asked him to forego applications on websites and reach out to these hiring managers in person or on LinkedIn or anything but the conventional means of being hired. Nope. Probably the most infuriating thing that has happened between a warm lead on the opportunity, the CEO of a small company reached out to him regarding a job that was a job title below the job he was working at previously. He was recommended to the CEO by a former co-worker of my husband's who works at the company currently. In the course of a month, she reached out to him 6 different times by email. He never replied to a single one of her emails. Not even a thanks so much for considering me type thing. He told me he didn't respond to her because he didn't have to, and that he checked them out on Glassdoor and the reviews say it's a bad place to work and that they pay below market rate, so it'd be a waste of his time. I swear to fucking God.
It's money, though. It's money you guys can fucking build up.
At this juncture, I am not sure what to do about my marriage. I'm having a hard time focusing on school, work, and or school right now. I'm eating everything in sight, and I'm trying to pack up a house that we are going to end up putting into a storage unit, and I've had actual nervous breakdowns 3 times in the last 2 weeks. That and the neighborhood gossips have caught wind of our hard times, and now that there is blood in the water, they are circling. I don't want to break my family up, but I don't want to be married to someone I can't rely on anymore. Even if he did save the day and get a job in the next week or so, we could still be in the same position in the not-so-distant future. I've already told him I'd like to go back to counseling as soon as we have access to the funds or benefits or both. He has agreed, but I have no idea if this arrogant, entitled attitude towards work is something that is so deeply ingrained that it can't be worked out. I've had enough instability in my life, and I keep hoping that my marriage and my family would continue to be a source of stability, and it is not. I had more stability when I was on my own. It is a sad day when saying the only person you can count on is yourself really rings true. TLDR, husband is still jobless, we're days away from losing our home, and he still hasn't learned a damn thing from this whole process. Still not sure what I'm going to do about my marriage.
Take your kids and fucking get out of there.
Yeah, like... I don't...
Get out of there while you still have your fucking kids.
But where can she go?
Parents, honestly... See, from this point, she's probably better off just saving up to fucking get out of there, even if he has to go to rental by rental.
Yeah. Fucking bitch. I'm calling him a bitch.
Yeah, I think that's clear.
So, there are some relevant comments. I am so sorry. Perhaps this may be a good time to have a trial separation. You and the kids can stay with a friend, but they won't have room for your husband. See what life is like so you don't have to manage your husband's life for him. OP then responds, I know what happens in that case because I cleaned it up when we first got together. About a year into being married, all of a sudden his paycheck stopped getting deposited into our joint account. He contacted HR, and as it turns out, his wages were being garnished for unpaid medical debts before we were married. This happened 3 weeks before Christmas, and I had to cash out a 401k to cover us until I could figure things out. I had to get in touch with the garnishes to figure out what the damage was, submit the paperwork they needed to come up with a payment plan, and do all of the legwork. He was at work, he didn't have time. When I went down the rabbit hole, it wasn't the only debt, and long story short, he had to file Chapter 13. I handled the bankruptcy, and he went to 2 meetings he had to attend in person that I could not go on his behalf. A year after the bankruptcy, I had built his credit back up. He had 2 unsecured credit cards in his name. They stay in my wallet, and a credit score of 650, which isn't great, but it is better than what it was before the bankruptcy. So yeah, I know what happens when I'm not handling everything. He will literally fucking die. Another person that responds, what I got out of your update is that your husband would rather make you and the kids homeless than get a new job, and wants to take zero time to reflect upon what went wrong. His warm lead is a hell of a lot better than most people have, and it beats being homeless. You really need to think about walking away from him. I got the impression that he dislikes female bosses. I'm afraid he might be resentful if you become the breadwinner. At the very least, I could see him staying unemployed, chasing dreams that don't pan out while you bust your ass.
Or worse, ruining your credit, that way you can't get away from him.
Yep. There are last 2 comments, and then that's the end of the post. You can't be fucking serious. This is too predictable. It's too predictable. I'm so sorry. You married a brat. He can't bring himself to respect a female superior enough to save your house. He ignored a sure fucking thing because it wasn't up to his princely standards. God damn it, OP. This guy is dead weight dragging down your whole life. You know in your heart that this isn't sustainable. Last comment. Sorry, go.
He's gonna fucking ruin these kids' lives.
Yes. Last comment. I remember last post, people had pointed out the fact that all of the bosses your husband has issues with were women, and I see this trend continues with the COO. I am very sorry about your situation. I think the best thing you can do is leave him, stay with family or friends while you finish schooling. And that's the end.
So nothing else? No.
Yeah, no, I don't think there has been a new update just yet. I will check though, if we do end up getting another update sometime soon. So, yeah. God, fucking...
Stupid fucking self-absorbed, entitled, narcissistic idiot.
Yes, he is, because he can't handle a woman being in charge of him, then his children living on the street.
Suck it up. Yeah, even if it means he has to suck it up.
It's fucking idiotic. It's blatantly idiotic.
Quite frankly, to the OP, your children would be better off growing up with a supportive mom who's doing their damnedest for them, than a deadbeat dad who refuses to work in a generation where it's almost half and half with who's going to be telling you what to do.
Pretty much. I honestly think that she should leave him because, like, at this point, I don't... Yeah, no. Like, he's putting his family in jeopardy. He is, like... he possibly will make his family fucking homeless. So, yeah, no, needless to say,
I understand. There are some workplaces that are awful, but the gender of who is telling you what to do does not decide that. What does decide that is the work conditions. Is your life at risk? how's the health? How's the fucking... Are you in a predicament where you literally cannot work because there are people trying to sabotage you?
Yeah.
That is where you can leave the job. Not, oh, she's a woman. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's...
Suck it up, live with it, until you are given an opportunity that you can take, or until your wife is in a situation where she can help support your dumbass.
Yeah, now, this post is from 8 years ago, so hopefully by now the OP has left this man, and hopefully they're doing okay. Hopefully the children are okay, because, oh my god. Bruh.
I feel like if something good would have happened, she would have said something about that.
That's the sadder part, too. So, that's the end of that, and that's the end of this episode, I suppose. God. Yeah, this was one of those episodes that, like, there was just a full bummer episode. Which, I mean, sure, we get a few of these every once in a while, but goddamn, like, this one wasn't even just, like, a one where it's like, oh, there are things that we can... It's literally just incompetent husbands, pretty much. So, yeah, God. We have one that's trying to get away with cheating, and then one that's just a fucking idiot that's putting his family in jeopardy, so, nice job.
Mm-hmm. How the hell how are we gonna close this episode off?
I have no idea. Fucking, let's think of something. We gotta,
this is way too depressing to just close out on.
Yeah,
there were no, other than the first story that was, like, remotely happy, like, honestly, you should have done the first one as the last one.
Yeah, God.
Like, we can't go back and edit that out. Like, we can't just, like, flip the script here, because I cannot pretend to be happy.
How about this? I'll find something to watch real quick, and then we can watch it just to be all like, oh, ha, 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 or, like, an image or something.
Fuck. Let me see if I have anything. Let me see if I have any good pictures here, man. You get your thing. I'll try to get my thing. Hold on, audience.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Give us a second. We're gonna try to find something to make this ending feel a little bit happier.
Yeah. Fucking the LSD llama won't work.
Oh, can we just watch this video again, or this video again?
Yeah.
Let's just watch this scene real quick. How about that?
Besides, if memory serves, since your sister moved out, don't you have an extra bed?
My sister didn't move out.
Well, that's odd. I distinctly remember you dancing around the lobby singing, "My sister got a groom, I got my own room." What?
Hey, look at those moves.
It's just the, like...
Look at those moves.
The ferocity of the... What?! Like...
Energy.
Oh, fucking hell. That's great. I wish... I like, for the audience at home, like, here's the thing. I watched a little bit of Zack and Cody back then, and a little bit of Sweet Life on Deck, though I have bad memories of Sweet Life on Deck, because at that time I was dealing with insomnia, and it was just, come on. But goddamn, I will say this. I wish I was Mr. Mosby. He is what I strive to be in life.
He's a cool character. Here's some Gravity Falls art I made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at that dog.
Look, it's me, Linn, in the background.
Oh, yeah.
There's me.
How the fuck did you get in this picture? I don't remember drawing that.
I just... oh, yeah, isn't that a problem that you've been having recently, that I keep showing up in all of, like, your media or whatever?
Yeah, why were you in my Creepy Cat novel? Why were you there? I was just trying to sit back and read Creepy Cat, and you popped up.
Even if we're far apart, I'll always be with you.
Get the fuck away from me.
Anyways, I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you did. But if you didn't, honestly, I don't blame you. And maybe we'll see you again sometime soon. Next episode will once again be focusing on a specific subreddit. And then the one after that is r/BestofRedditor. You know how it works, hopefully.
Maybe we can settle down with a nice cooking post, you know?
Maybe. Yeah, you know what? That's what we'll do. How about that? So, yeah. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we'll maybe see you guys again sometime soon. And remember, stay safe and sane. Bye.